Hello everyone, Game Master here, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to set up and play Doomlings. Doomlings is a very fun game that you can play with your friends, so yeah, let's get into it. Alright, to start the setup, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to separate your Birth of Life card. It looks different than the other age cards. You're going to need to separate the Birth of Life, and then your Catastrophe cards. And they all say a catastrophe up top. And then they have effects, and then they have World's End effects, which I'll explain that a little bit later. So you want to separate those, and you also want to separate your other age cards. And they also have effects at the bottom that I will explain a little bit later. But there should be 25 of them, I believe. 25 age cards, 15 catastrophe cards, and 1 Birth of Life card. Now from that, you're going to want to shuffle each of the cards, and I already kind of had them shuffled, and then you're going to want to so there's your catastrophes. And then you're going to want to deal out 1, 2, 3. 3 piles. So that's 3 eras. And then you're going to want to deal out one catastrophe card in each. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shuffle these until you don't know like the order of those, and just shuffle each of these era piles. Alright, once you have those shuffled, then you're going to want to put the ages on top of each other, and then also put the Birth of Life on top. When you're ready to start the game, you put the Birth of Life like that, and then when you're ready to start the game, you flip over the Birth of Life, and that starts an era. So the next thing that we need to set up is you just need everybody to pick one of these gene pool cards. It doesn't matter what one they pick, they are all the same. They're all the same in function. And then the Birth of Life sets every gene pool to 5. So you put the 5 so that you can see it like that. And no matter what gene pool you have, they all have the 5. You may need to flip over your card. Oh, yeah. You may need to flip over your card if it only has 1, 2, 3, and 4, because 5 will be next. And so what this gene pool represents is it represents your hand size. And the gene pool can increase or decrease based on ages or based on traits. And traits are the next thing that I'm going to be talking about. So at the start of the game, you will pass out. And there are a ton of traits. Some of the traits are on the side that I set out, but there's a ton of traits that you can use. So make sure to shuffle these before you pass them out, and then make sure everybody has 5 to start. And and also there's these handy dandy rule cards in case anybody needs them. It shows what the effects do, and it shows what colorless stuff are. So the different colors are purple honeycomb, there's red sparks, and that's all I have. And then there's things called dominant traits. Dominant traits, you can only have 2 dominant traits in your trait pile at one time. And they cannot be taken by other players, and I don't believe they can be destroyed, but they cannot be destroyed unless the card says so. So each turn, what you're going to be doing is you're going to play one trait from your hand face up. And so some cards have effects, and also so this one says swap one trait from your trait pile with an opponent's trait of a different color. So if you traded this with, say, if this was set down, that would be a good trade because this is worth 1 point and you'd be trading for a 3 point. And things that show that means that it depends on the effect. So this one says value is equal to the number of kidneys in your trait pile, including this one. So with 1 in there, it would be worth 1 point, but if there was 4, that would be 4 points. And the next thing that you do after you play one trait from your hand, then you play the trait's effect. And then at the end of your turn, say because of a trait's effect, I only had 3 cards in my hand, and my gene pool is set at 5 right now. Then that means that I have to draw back up to 5. So I have to draw 2 cards. So that's what stabilizing is. And look, I got another kidney, so that could be a very good thing to use. Another thing is once your turn is done, or once everybody is gone, then the age moves. And also, the player that starts, actually that's at the era. And so say you just go and a catastrophe happens. That means that is the end of an era. So with this, the first one, you use the white, and it was retrovirus. -1 gene pool. Discard 1 card from your hand for every green trait in your trait pile. So the discarding of a card, 1 card from your hand for every green trait in your trait pile, that is just in this scenario, you wouldn't have to do anything. But if you did have that, then you just follow that. But when it says -1 gene pool, you go from 5 to 4. So 4 will be at the top, like that. And if it said go down 1 more, then it would go to 3. And once an era is done, so that's the end of an era. And when an era is finished, then a new era is started, and the player that starts moves over 1. So depending on which way you're going, if you're going clockwise around the table, then you move 1 clockwise. So if this player was going and there was 4 players playing, and this player started, then this player would start at the second era, and this player would start at the third era. And so there's another catastrophe. So that's the end of the second era. And you just do the effect, and then you just play out until, and you have to remember to play these every time the age is done. And that is World's End, because it was the third catastrophe. So at the third catastrophe, what you do is you read the yellow text, and it says, World's End. Draw a card, add its face value to your final score, plus 5 max. Then discard it. So, so that is, that's a pretty good World's End that can happen. And so, yeah. If you have any questions, comment down below and I'll answer. Thank you for watching. Game on.